My name is Sarah, and today's book review is on Not Even Bones by Rebecca Schaeffer. And just to throw it out there, it is also on Webtoons as a comic, so that is exciting as well. Non-spoilers. I give this book a 4 out of 5 stars. Our main character, Nita, she is a young girl with an interesting hobby, which is dissecting bodies that her mother brings for her to do. And these aren't just regular bodies, but they are monsters, also known as unnaturals in this world. So apparently people know about unnaturals, and they're the kind of monsters that we grew up in. I guess you could say our cultural folk tales that we always talked about is, as kids and stuff, but they are real. And that alone is creepy because I don't need to go to the river and see a woman wearing a white dress there. And as I was saying, Nita's hobby is dissecting bodies that her mom brings her in. Well, the only problem is this time her mom brings her in a live person, a live unnatural, and that gets Nita into a lot of questioning about herself, about what's going on, and that lands her in the most notorious black market place in the unnatural known world called the Death Market, so that's not good. And she as well is an unnatural with interesting abilities. There she meets Covet, who is, I guess you could say, the person overseeing her well-being, as his employer brings in people to see if they want to purchase things from Nita since she's now merchandise. And they kind of formed this interesting relationship that I was all for and everything, and how the story unfolds, I was just like, makes you think about a lot of stuff. Nita, she is an interesting character. I will admit she kind of overthought some things, but also was testing her morals. So that was interesting because that also went further into her mind, how she thought of things, how she remembered some stuff from her past, and how she compared them to today's situation. So that brought her like more of a human feel that I found very interesting. Covet, he, in a way, for what he is, it's to be what everyone thinks of what his unnatural is, but also he has a human side to himself as well. Basically, this book showed us the monsters, but also showed us the human morals and dilemmas that they live with and what they're willing to do. So that was really an interesting take. One little downside is that kind of felt like stuck in one little place, because we were mentioned how we were in this big market, but we were stuck mostly in one area. So I would have liked to see more. There's mentions of some unnaturals in this book, so that basically laid out what we're going to see later on, but I'm kind of interested in what we might see in the future, because this world feels like it's so big it can go any way. All in all, the moment I finished this book, I immediately hit to the Webtoon series, and I have to say it is spectacular, people. If you loved this book, then please go check out the Webtoon. And that's as far as I can get into non-spoilers. Not Even Bones by Rebecca Schaeffer. 4 out of 5 stars. Bye, non-spoilers! Spoilers. And before I get into spoilers, some of y'all might have noticed that the anime reactions as well as solo leveling reactions is no longer on this channel. I actually moved them to my new channel, Once Upon an Anime, where I will be solely focusing on anime reactions as well as future solo leveling reactions. So if you want to go check that out, it is at Once Upon an Anime. I will leave the link down in the description box. So getting back to spoilers. So like I said, in this world we're unnaturals. It's just the term that people use to describe the monsters in this world. And Nita, again, is with her mom, who brings in bodies of unnaturals for Nita to dissect, and they sell it on the black market. Only problem is some places in this world, some countries, they go by INHUB rules, and that is the International Non-Human Police, where they make that kind of things illegal, but there's still some countries that don't follow by the rules, and that's where Nita's mom kind of takes her to those places to make things a little bit easier. As well, her dad, he works in America, he has a law firm business going on, as well as helping with the business on the sideline as well. And while Nita is dissecting a body, she's complaining how it's another Zanny. Apparently those are more native to Asia. Her mom mentions that she is going to be bringing in something interesting. So it's like, well, she leaves Nita to dissect this body. She goes off to a different country on the continent to bring back this unnatural. And Nita's kind of excited because she's thinking, ooh, it's going to be something new. I'm getting tired of dissecting these same bodies. I hope it's what I imagine it's going to be. Well, sweetie, Not really, because when her mom comes back, she brings alive Unnatural, which she says the longer he's alive, the sooner we can send out products of him that are more fresher. And Nita begins to start questioning things, because first of all, you can talk to this person, this Unnatural, which we find out his name is Fabrizio, and he's begging Nita to help him. So that's completely flashing black and white on her whole gray view of things. Now Nita's mom, she kind of freaks me out in a I don't know how to appease this lady. She's a little bit like the version of Muzan when he was dismantling the lower moons. Like, you remember how they're trying to appease him, and then there's the one guy that was like, oh, this is the greatest dream ever, just seeing you kill everyone. This is how I kind of felt like when I was dealing with Nita's mom. She felt like a female version of Muzan, because Nita, she knows that she can't anger her mother, because the last time she defied her mom, she basically did the whole horse in a bed thing for a complete week until her husband said that's enough, and Nita figured out, yeah, I don't want to go up against my mom ever again. So she has that looming over her, as well as her mom's weird psycho mood swings, that she could be nice, then she could be evil, then she can be very sneaky, very cunning, and you just don't know which way she's gonna swing. So we have that, as well as Fabrizio in the other room begging Nita to help him in a way, because he knows that he's gonna get cut up over and over again until there's nothing left. So again, what is Nita gonna do? Now Nita, I don't know if she enjoyed it, because she says that she was always fascinated, but I also think it might have been in the environment she was raised in, how she's always loved dissecting things, including the eyes. So she never questioned anything about what her parents did. And so with Fabrizio coming in again, it's like shaking up her whole world. So she's finally starting to think about her own morals and how she can remain human in her own way while turning a blind eye. This was the whole thing about Nita, okay? She was questioning a lot of stuff that she did in the past that she always thought was okay, feasible. She can turn the other way and not think about it. And with the whole situation that's going to happen in the very, very near future, it just basically makes her reevaluate everything. Now, because Nita talks to Fabrizio and she lied to her mom about talking to him, Nita's mom tries to cut off his ear because she sold it like an hour ago. And she intentionally did it on purpose, and to get Nita to participate as her version of a punishment. And that's where we found out that Nita, as well as her mom, are Unnaturals as well, but they don't know what they are. All they know is that they can manipulate their bodies at a biological level. What I mean by that is because Fabrizio had moved and Nita cut her hand with her scalpel. She loves that scalpel very much, people. She always likes dissecting things, and she always, as a way to calm herself, she always imagines holding her scalpel. Well, she cuts herself, and her mom says, I'm surprised you haven't healed that yet. And she starts healing her wound. So Nita's more on the way of manipulating her body to where it can heal itself, cut off her nerves to where she doesn't feel pain, everything like that. Well, her mom, I guess, specializes in enhancing her body, because Nita mentioned how her mom can make it strong, faster, sharper, that kind of way. And we get an example when all of a sudden her mom just, like the blink of an eye, throws the scalpel and gets Fabrizio's ear just like then and there, and you realize, like, you know, she's just playing with us this entire time. And we get this example or display of her powers. So the next books, if we have Mommy Dearest as the enemy, let's run in the opposite direction and hope she doesn't catch up by enhancing her speed and body to tackling us down and decapitating us or whatsoever, because she, again, Muzan, female version of Muzan. So we did get like a small mention of another group besides Inhub in this world, I guess, that doesn't really see very well with Unnaturals, because Inhub, even though it's meant this great thing, they have this list of possible dangerous Unnaturals, but you know, as Nita's mom said, any organization has corrupt people that's willing to do anything for money. We also get this other group that was mentioned like on a television set about how, you know, Unnaturals are like on a DNA level can continue on to the next generation, or can hop a generation or go dormant for a while, that kind of thing on a genetic level. Well, they were talking about how they wanted to find a way to, you know, track down that gene and destroy it before it's ever, you know, passed on or that unnatural is born. They are known as the UEA, the Unnatural Extermination Agenda. That was all that we saw, but I have a feeling that in the next book they're going to be a major factor for what's about to happen. I'm just saying, the author, she had this way of laying little details that did come into play in this book, like the type of unnaturals that Nita kept mentioning, like say the Sannies, the unicorns, because apparently there's like a lot of things about the unicorn dust, how it's used as a drug and everything. And again, we saw a bunch of Zannies. We got mentions of vampires. We saw some vampires. So I'm thinking the little stuff that she mentioned, it's good. They play somewhat a big factor in the first book. So if she mentioned UEA and completely went to the next scene, I have a feeling that we're going to have to deal with them a lot in the next book. So Nita, after evaluating everything, she figures, you know what, I'm going to go against Mother's wishes and I'm going to free Fabrizio, which she does. And she manages to get him on the bus to Ecuador. And he's like, what are you going to do now? She's like, don't worry, I'll handle this. And she's got to go back to Mommy Dearest, which I was completely freaking out. I was like, from what I found out, Nita, about your mother, let's just get on the bus and take our chances with Inhub, even though your parents told you it's like the boogeyman of your version of bad. I think that's the lesser of two evils, because I don't know what your mom's capable of, but I have a large imagination. I'm pretty sure your mom checks all of those boxes. But you know what? She frees Fabrizio, gives him all the money that she has to get a ticket to go to Ecuador. She gives him a phone to call Inhub for, you know, once he gets there, to make the call and say, hey, I need your protection and everything. She gives him a free start. Nita goes back to Mommy Dearest, and she's awake, and this is the scariest ever that I've seen this woman. Even though I haven't met her that long, she's completely calm. And I don't know if that's worse than what I've seen so far. Either way, they gotta move location, and they go to a hotel, and while Nita's mom has to go out to fix something, so Nita wants to apologize, but she's like, Nita, you do not want to have this conversation with me now. And slams the door, and you know, that picture frame falls and breaks in the background. I'm like, yeah, we gotta bail. But while Nita's trying to get in contact with her dad, because she gave her phone to Fabrizio, say, hey, I think I messed up, Nita gets captured, and she gets drugged, and she wakes up in a cell, which she eventually finds out is part of this ultimate fable, legendary black market, translated as the death market. And she realizes that she's been sold. Who other than her father knows about Nita's abilities and her location, because we meet the person that has her, Reyes, and she made a comment about saying so her abilities are true because she has someone, COVID, her henchman, test to see her healing abilities, and not only records it, but it's like, okay, it's sound, the product has the ability we want. So Nita connects the dots and figures that her mom sold her as punishment. Oh no. So Reyes, she is this woman in charge of Nita after buying her and figuring what her abilities are and how she can sell her. Well, she again had this person named COVID test Nita's abilities, and he is a Zanny. Again, another name drop. And apparently Zannies feed off of people's pain, which makes them the best interrogators, torturers, executioners for mafia groups, because this is all underground stuff and everything. Well, COVID, he does test Nita's abilities, but at the same time she cuts off her pain receptors, and that's when he notices it automatically that he turned it off. And that's where I got the trope where he becomes interested in her because she's kind of different in a way, which really worked for their friendship later on, because they actually had, you know, two people with common goals, and they just became something different, and they became like, I really think him, COVID, and Nita became friends in a way. I don't know if I can see them as a romantic relationship, but I can see them as good friends, because after everything that they go through this whole book, I'm like, yes, let's just stick with friends right now. Nita meets a cellmate. Her name is Morella, and I was a little confused on the description of what she was, but I guess in a way the webtoon helped to clarify that. She's a human, kind of pink, can go a little gray a little bit, but I guess she's a descendant of the pink dolphins that apparently there's a legend about the dolphins that would come to land as a man and either would lure them to the water and drown them, or just stick with the lady for the night and leave once they know that the woman is pregnant with their child. And that's how one of the legends go. Marilla, apparently she is like the dolphins, except her, skin color can change by the stuff that she eats. So you notice that COVID feeds her shrimp to keep her pink skin color going on. But Nina tries to get some information out of her, see what's going on, and Marilla doesn't really have that much info, so Nina gets a little frustrated. Nina's not really that good with people. Her mom pulled her out of school when she was very young. Her mom even says you're socially incompetent, and so she's trying in a way to communicate, but also trying to figure a way how to get out of this situation that she's in, because she knows from what Ray has said that some people are going to start coming in to take a look at her, see what they can purchase after uploading a video of her healing abilities. Again, I kind of enjoyed Nita and COVID's relationship, because the moment he found out that she just turned off her emotions, he kind of changes. I mean, he still has that creepy little smile that he gets whenever Pain is in the air, or when Reyes has a treat for him, and he's just like so happy to get that Pain. But when he's with Nita, you get that other side to him where he kind of interacts with her. I mean, she gets his attention one time, like waving around, and she's like, and he's like, did you call for me? And he's like, I'm bored, and he leaves, and she's like, oh right, he's gonna leave. And then he brings back a book. He's like, I can tell you it's gonna be a terrible book. It's like, don't judge a book by cover. It's like, I warned you. And she's like, he's right, this is a terrible book. And when she has a nightmare, he comes to check up on her. It's like, nightmare? And she's like, yeah. And he's like thinking. He goes back and comes back with a deck of cards that he made. It's like, you know how to play poker? It's like their interactions together, they even have like heart-to-heart conversations, like testing the waters. It's like, y'all make me blush. We get some interesting characters that you automatically know that they're baddies, and one of them is Balder, who is a potential customer to purchase something from Nita. He is getting a preview, which she can do, and he also purchases Marilla's eye, which is like, okay, this guy needs to die now. Either way, we have a situation where Nita's a little bit defiant to Reyes, because COVID did come into her cell and say, we can do this the easy way or the hard way. And Reyes also gives her an ultimatum, Nita an ultimatum, saying either he cuts you or he cuts off your fingers or anything. No, it's either she heals herself or he cuts off her fingers to see if they can regrow, because he does slice her and she refuses to heal. She's like, fine, I'm healing. And that's where we get to see Balder, where he thinks that, Nita's body, well, the parts that he can buy, will give him, immortality. It's always that immortality thing that people are hunting for. Either way, she watches him as he eats the strip of flesh that COVID slices off, and he wants to see what else he can purchase about Nita and everything. And I just like, no, we're gonna deal with him again later, because I'm like, I don't like him. And also what he does to Marilla, I'm like, ew, let's kill him already. And again, we see that relationship between Nita and COVID when Reyes tells him to either cut off Nita's 3 fingers or let Nita turn on her pain so COVID can touch her for an hour as punishment for defying her. And when they leave, well, COVID's like, your choice. And he's like, I'm not turning on my pain. He's like, I wouldn't you? And she's like, aren't you gonna torture me? He's like, no. And he leaves. I'm like, this relationship, this friendship is blooming, people. But either way, poor Marilla, she loses her eye, and she doesn't like COVID a lot, and neither Balder, so she has some people on her hit list. We get another drop that I have a feeling we're going to deal with later in the next book, and that's when Reyes starts bringing in more people to show off Nita and talk about future purchases or anything. And we see a vampire. So the thing about vampires is that, they have their strength, their speed, their healing abilities, but as they get older, they get like white streaks until like the really, really old ones have like completely white hair and everything. Well, we get this vampire that's interested in Nita, but for different reasons. And even though Reyes keeps saying you can talk to the merchandise after you buy her, he asks Nita, like, does anyone else in your family have this ability? And she doesn't answer. And he says, do you know a woman by the name Monica? She has red highlights in her hair. And that automatically clicks to Nita. It's like, that's my mom. Mom, what you done? Because we have a vampire that's very interested on Mommy Dearest's location. And even though Reyes reels in this scene and he leaves, we're like, this is not good. Especially if someone is looking for Nita's mom and Nita's here and Nita's mom sold her. It's like, what is going on in thy background? And you know what? We're kind of done waiting around in a cell, possibly getting ready to get our pieces cut off all until there's nothing left, like Fabricio. So Nita comes up with a way to escape, which was really interesting and very creative because she used a blanket and a piece of plastic to blur in COVID, because she made sure that the food tray latch thing went open and he came in to try to, fix it, and she threw the blanket, tackled him down after, superpowering herself a little bit, and she gets out and Morella's like, hello, can you get me out of here as well? And now we have two girls, one that's pink, one that has healing abilities. We are in the middle of the Amazon in the death market with no possible way how to get out, and we're trying to escape. Yay! This is going to be interesting, even though, COVID doesn't have any money to use to bribe people with at the docks. And that's where, again, Boulder, you must die, because the girls, they do manage to get to the pier. It's like morning and everything, and no one's awake. And they're in the middle of the Amazon. Where are we going to go besides down the river? And they come up with a plan. Plan doesn't go that well because, Nita's going to try to cause a distraction, which really doesn't work out so well. She sees that Boulder's on the pier with the guards, and Morella is trying to get to a boat. Well, Boulder sees Morella, but I don't think he thinks it's Morella, and he shoots her, and she rolls into the river. Plan to fail. And again, Boulder must die. So we will get to that momentarily. Now, with that plan, burned and turned to ashes, Nita has to come up with plan 2, which is more risky, and that is robbing Reyes. The only problem is that's gonna be interesting, because how are we gonna do that when we really don't have anything for us? So Nita does go back to where the cells were. She checks the camera. COVID's doing origami with the piece of papers from the books that he gave her. She's checking things out. What am I gonna use? Until, COVID heard her on the phone or something, and he does the same thing in the camera, like, hello, hello. And she goes to see him, and they're chit-chatting, and that's where COVID realizes there's a little something to Nita, because he knows that her hand was, like, twitching. That's what she does when she imagines her scalpel. And he sees, the dark side of Nita for a bit, because she says she's imagining dissecting him, and she told him that that's what she used to do. She used to dissect people, and her favorite things were the eyes. He's like, Nita, what are you gonna do? She's like, I don't know. And I guess something in there sparks, because he tells her where to find a gun. Reyes shows up ahead of schedule. Nita doesn't have her, plan set up to rob Reyes or anything. So everything just goes by ear, to where Reyes sees COVID in the cell. She's getting ready to kill him, and the moment she walks into the line, Nita shoots her, misses, but gets the shoulder wound and knocks her down. And COVID finishes the job, and they're like, we gotta team up. We both gotta get out of here now together, or we're both dead. So I'm like, yay, team up. At the same time, Nita makes a phone call to Chicago for her dad, and we get a mystery going on because the police pick up the phone. And she's like, oh, I'm sorry, wrong phone number. But she starts thinking, Dad, what did you do? So we got a thing with her mom with a vampire, and now we have her dad with the police. So that's not good. Let's just add it on to the next problem, where we go to Reyes' house after getting a thumb. And she says, why isn't the house locked? Well, and COVID's like, well, Reyes wouldn't need to lock the house, and if we didn't have the thumb, well, anyone who gets into the house gets hit by mustard gas. So yeah, okay. Nita's mom with a vampire, Nita's dad with Chicago Police Department, and getting into Reyes' house that if they didn't have the finger, they would have been hit by mustard gas. Problems that we can deal with another time. Let's just get out of this market, please, and kill Boulder on our way out. We found out that we can't find any money in Reyes' place, and the only way how to make money is to sell things. Well, Nita's like, we have a body, so, well, COVID is distracting Reyes' bodyguards, Lorenzo, and I believe it was Jorge. Nita goes back, because she's like, we do have a body, and she cuts up Reyes' body, brings it back to the house after a mad dash, and signals COVID by turning on the tiny little finger and, instant pain. And they send the Chew guy to go sell, Race's body. And the whole thing about Nita's pain will come into play again because she turned off her pain. Right. So, the moment she's going to have to flick that back on, it's going to be searing, torturous agony. And that only happened one time when she was a kid, and that's like trial and error, and she learned her lesson. That she just knows it's going to be bad the moment this happens. But this is like the only way she can contact COVID, because he can feel the pain if they're in long distances. So it's like better than walkie-talkies, but this is going to be very hurtful later on. We get the money. Those guys screwed it up. We didn't get that much money, so we gotta go a plan shoot. We're just making plans as we go along, people, because I'm not swimming in the Amazon. You don't know what's in there besides the piranhas. We have other things that are going on in there, unnatural wise. So plan two. We finally get to my favorite plan of them all. We're going to get Boulder. We're going to torture him for information, and we're going to get our money. So COVID, you know how you did have your moment with pain and you fed and everything. Well, are you ready for some more? We go to Boulder's place. Nita and the COVID, they come up with a plan to, take out their people, get the other Chew, and we get Boulder, and Nita asks him nicely, like, either you tell us where your money is, or my friend here will get the information out of you. And he's like, go ahead, do your worst. And he's like, fine, COVID. And he's like, I'm on it. She steps out. She literally counts for like 30 seconds, and COVID comes out. It's upstairs. That was easy. And COVID's like, yeah, he doesn't like pain. So the moment I started doing something, he just spilled the beans. And she's like, okay, then where's the money? COVID's like under his bed in a safe. And yeah. And they're like, that is very cliche. But what are you going to do? We go get our money. But because they've been working with COVID for so long, Jorge and Lorenzo show up without them knowing, because COVID mentioned every kind of person has a certain level of pain, so he could sense it. Well, remember that unicorn dust I told you about? Well, Lorenzo had like a huge stash of it. I guess he gave some to Jorge, and they used that to numb their pain. So they snuck up Anita and COVID. They wound Anita with a gunshot. They take all of Boulder's money, and we're back to square one, except with a wounded Anita, no money, and we're stuck in a cell that we've seen she cannot break through yet, because she tried to do the ultimate punch thing and just wounded herself in the process. So, okay. Any more bright ideas? Because we are shooting out plans left and right. So I'm all ears. Only problem is, now, this might have been like an hour later, Boulder walks in, this smug look on his face that I really want to punch off and just like stamp on. He now has Jorge and Lorenzo in his employment, and he offers COVID a deal, saying, Sandy, you have so much potential and everything. How about this? I'll keep coming. You keep cutting off a piece of Nita so I can eat, and by the time there's nothing left, I might let you go. So that realization clicks into Nita's head, thinking, okay, he's gonna eat her piece by piece, and she wants to have faith in COVID. So at the very last moment, she looks at him, and he looks at her, and he like raises an eyebrow, and she's like, dude, I thought you were serious. Like, yeah, I was just messing with you. And he looks at Boulder like, dude, I'm not an idiot. I know you're gonna kill me the chance you get. So it's like their friendship held strong. All those moments of bonding, especially about mothers, because COVID's mom was a Sandy, and he found out about certain stuff. That's why he turned her into Inhub, and Nita's mom being the female Muzan and selling her and everything. We were like, okay, yay, we taken care of that situation. But the plan to lure them in, and like how she did to COVID, that doesn't go according to plan, because COVID gets shot first off the bat. Nita tries to fight them off. That didn't go so well, and all in all, we get bloody, we get bruised, we get battered. We're still stuck in the cage, and Nita lost her pinky toe in the process and watched Boulder eat it. So, again, I'm looking for the bright side at the end of the tunnel on this, and because we're getting closer to the end of the book, people. So while Nita's trying to heal herself, and she's trying to take care of COVID, again, who got shot, she told him, yeah, I tried punching out of here last time, it didn't work. And he's like, you can enhance your body stuff, right? And she's like, yeah. And he's like, you try punching, I can teach you how to throw a good punch. She's like, well, it's not gonna help, we need something to throw at. And he looks at his phone. It's like, let me teach you how to throw. So we get like a quick tutorial on how to Shuriken Ninja throw a cell phone because it launches itself into the glass. And he's like, okay, I gotta show you how to throw a punch. And she does the ultimate, I guess, One Punch Man punch. And the glass breaks! Yay! Convenient items and convenient timing and plot armor at its finest, but we finally get out of the cage. And we still gotta figure a way how to, you know, get out of the death market. But while we're doing that, Nita finds a box that belongs to Reyes, and it has pictures of Nita, and you know, that's what COVID said. Yeah, we use these photos to double check to make sure you were what was promised, and that's when a revelation happens. Because Nita said the only people in the world that knew about her ability was her mom, and her dad, and herself. Well, this person knew about Nita's abilities and her possible location and contacted Reyes, and she sees that there is confirmation about Nita's abilities and possible location of where to find her. Wasn't there someone else that knew about Nita's ability earlier on in this book? Who can that person be? Fabricio! And Nina mentions Fabricio's last name, and Kova's like, I don't know Fabricio, but I know that last name because they kind of help out the mafia every now and again about, like, you know, taxes and stuff. So the mafia, the family that Kova worked for, was personal clients, and things just are no longer adding up about what Nita's mom told her about Fabricio. Either way, Fabricio was the one that betrayed Nita, and it wasn't her mom. So we're in this situation because of Fabricio. Oh my god, when she was doing the connect the dots, thinking who knew about her abilities, I kind of knew, I suspected it's Fabricio because it just felt like it was there. But I was just like waiting for the clarification. So yeah, Fabricio, he is the guy that sold Nita. And why hasn't Mommy Dearest come to go get her? That's another question. Maybe it has to do with the vampire. Either way, we now get a name and face as to why Nita is in this situation. And because of that, Nita's like, to hell with this. Let's burn this whole place down to the ground. I'm like, okay, Nita is channeling that inner rage now, so let's do what she says. But at the same time, COVID also talks to her about there are certain lines that we need to make, or if we cross them or realize it at the very end, we become what we always never wanted to be, because he has rules, and they are very good rules on the stuff that he does not want to cross whatsoever. And Nina realizes, yes, COVID is right, but I will work on that after we set this place on fire. Remember how I said about Nina turning on her pain receptors? Well, she does that again because they're on the separate ends of the death market, and she needs to, you know, signal COVID when to set fire to a place near an open propane tank, and she turns them all on. Lava going through you, glass shards being rubbed against your eyes, and all kinds of unimaginable pain right then and there for like the next 10 seconds, but I think she turns it back on, or it's not that fast. She thought either way, it was terrible, it was horrible. COVID got the message, and the whole place is burning, and we are getting boom, kaboom, kaboom. People are running for their lives. People are falling into the water. Who knows who's getting in? Who knows who's getting out? Do we have a boat? Where is COVID? We found him. Nita, we gotta run. Oh dear, things are blowing. We're falling into the water. Let's find the boat. We got the rowboat. COVID's unconscious because of all the terrible, horrible pain that he is absorbing and everything. And Nita is left rowing a boat on her own as she watches the whole place burn to the ground. I'm like, I was already in the boat waiting for y'all at the pier. I already secured this boat. Yeah, I don't want to be in this burning inferno. And while we're going down the Amazon, while COVID's still underground, still relishing through the pain that he's absorbed, Nita's wondering, did he overload? We know some boats are capsizing and people aren't coming back out of the water. And the best example ever is because ahead of them is a boat with Balder, Jorge, and Lorenzo, and their boat flips, and Nita notices that there's dorsal fins in the water. Pink dorsal fins! Balder's trying to get onto Nita's boat. He goes under, and he doesn't come back up after a dorsal fin gets a little too close. Same thing for Lorenzo and Jorge, and COVID's still unconscious. Well, she thinks, pink dolphins, pink dolphins, pink dolphins. Could it be? And she like leans over. She's like, I'm a friend of Morella's. Do you know her? And like the water goes still. And she's like, Morella, is that you? And the hand comes out of the water, Jason style, and she like freaks out. And Morella is alive. And she apparently can turn into a dolphin when she's in the water. So she's a little bit more dolphin than human now. And she's like, oh, Nita, you survived. She's like, yeah, I told you I would. She's like, don't worry, I'll make sure that you and your boat won't be attacked. I don't think she saw COVID, which is good because she got her kill on Balder. Yay. But she mentioned how she would want to kill COVID for all the pain and horrible and everything that he's put her through. It's like, I don't think she saw him, so yay, we're making it through the Amazon. And eventually COVID wakes up and they start taking turns rowing their boat, as well as talking about the future, because COVID says that the family believes he's now dead, so he can live his life still in the shadows, but live his life. Well, Nita says she's gonna go back to Inhud because there's something she needs to take care of. She needs to figure out what's with her dad, but she doesn't want to continue living in the shadows every time. So while they end up in some port in Brazil, he gives her his email address and like, hey, my invitation's always open if you want to go on the run with me. So I'm like, their friendship, oh my god. Again, I don't know if I can see them as a romantic couple, but their friendship is just beautiful. I mean, he's there for her. They've been through hell and high water, literally, and they got to know each other much, much more. They had each other's backs even when push came to shove and everything, and it's like their friendship. I am all for this friendship all the way. The story ends with me going, vampire dude! Because Nita, she goes to Inhub, but they take her to, I believe, Colombia, to the headquarters in that general area. Nita told them that she burned down the death market and she's fleeing for her life, and they ask her questions about her parents or anything. She wants to contact anyone. She mentions her dad, and they say, do you know this person? And they show her a picture, I believe it was a picture of the vampire, and she's like, yeah, what about him? Like, he's a fixer. That name alone isn't good. And they tell us that he was spotted in Nita's hometown, and her father was murdered a week ago. Nita, a week prior, had met Vampire Dude. A week later, because Vampire Dude is apparently looking for Nita's mother, this also solves the Chicago incident, but he killed Nita's dad. Mommy dearest, female Muson, what did you do that caused the mafia to send the fixer? Does this have to do with Fabrizio now? Because Coven mentioned that thing about Fabrizio's family's last name. Was this because Nita's mom took Fabrizio? This person made contact to the mafia and say, hey, send a vampire to take care of this. I'm just realizing this right now. Either way, Nita said her mom's in the wind, and we have a possible thing to do with a vampire. And like, oh no. And the oh no just gets even worse when they're going to send Nita to Canada for sanctuary, and they say, by the way, this person was at one of the other Inhub places, and so with bag papers and everything, he's going to be traveling with you. And she says, his name is Fabrizio. And he walks into the light, and Nita sees him. I am not about to spend a something plus hours plane ride to Canada sitting next to the person who took my goodwill of saving your life and betraying me to the death market to, of course, possibly end up in the same fate as you. But I am not sitting on a something plus hour ride on a plane and close quarters to Canada with my betrayer. And that's where the book ends. And that's the end of my spoilers. As you can see, this ending left on a very, 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 very interesting cliffhanger, because again, we're with Fabrizio on the ride over to Canada, and that's gonna be awkward as hell. Can we email COVID and say, hey, I'm ready to go on that adventure with you in the shadows all for the rest of my life, because I don't want to be with this dude at all. But of course, Nita, she wants to live her life for everything, and she realizes that the only way how to do that is to make her almost like Balder, where very, very feared, to where people don't want to mess with her, because that video that Ray has posted is still out there, so everyone knows about her ability, so that's going to be problematic in the next book. I have a feeling UEA and Fabrizio are going to be the big baddies. Nita's going to need assistance, so COVID's going to definitely come back in the picture. Mommy Dearest is somewhere out there causing mayhem with a potential vampire on her tail, meaning Nita's possibly probably going to be targeted by this vampire as well. And it's just a lot of things, a lot of doors that we didn't know existed are now upon us, and they are being awaiting to be open. Either way, I have a feeling that the next book is going to be intense, and I don't know if I'm ready for that. As you can tell, I really, really like this book. It was, again, a nice refresher to the paranormal genre that we're used to with the typical vampires, which is vampires, fae, and everything, by bringing in creatures and legends that we know and our cultures and bringing them to life. So that can go in so many ways. Again, I don't want to see a woman wearing white at the river. I'd rather go after what Nina really wanted to dissect, a chupacabra. Let's do that. Let's stick with the chupacabras for right now. And I can't wait to see where the next book takes us. Again, that's going to be very intense, and I don't know if I'm ready for that. Not Even Bones by Rebecca Schaeffer. 4 out of 5 stars. And again, if y'all want to check out my anime reactions as well as my solo leveling reactions, I will leave a link down below to my other channel, which is Once Upon an Anime, and I hope y'all enjoy those as well. My name is Sarah, and bye!